There is an ecological catastrophe happening right now in Australia. 2019 was a rough year, even by Australian standards. The year was one of the hotter years they've ever had. I think it's the fourth hottest year on record for Australia. And in mid-December 2019, it got to around 45 degrees Celsius across the country. That broke heat records in towns and cities across the continent. 2019 was also a very dry year for Australia, which was already experiencing multi-year droughts. It was the driest year in over a century, and by the time it came to an end, there were massive wildfires burning across millions of acres of the Australian landscape. The HuffPost media organization has done some research and interviews with scientists about these wildfires, and in an early statement they reported, quote, "Critically endangered species, including the southern Corroboree frog and mountain pygmy possum, could be wiped out as fires ravage crucial habitat in Victoria's Alpine National Park and New South Wales' neighboring Kosciuszko National Park. Threatened species, such as the glossy black cockatoo, spotted tail quoll, and long-footed potoroos, both small marsupials, are also facing real risks of extinction in large parts of their range." Unquote. Now, in early January 2020, an ecologist from the University of Sydney has made an ominous and deeply saddening statement. In an interview, ecologist Chris Dickman explained the data behind the growing death toll. They discuss an earlier announcement that almost 500 million animals had died, but note that this data came only from the state of New South Wales, so if anything, it's a strong underestimate for the total animal deaths in Australia as a whole. Mr. Dickman said, quote, "The original figure, the 480 million, was based on mammals, birds, and reptiles for which we do have densities, and that figure now is a little bit out of date. It's over 800 million given the extent of the fires now, in New South Wales alone." Unquote. When he includes other animals, like bats and amphibians, the death toll rises. And when he includes invertebrates, like spiders and insects and worms and whatnot, he says, quote, "Without any doubt at all," unquote, that the death toll has exceeded 1 billion animals. He says, quote, "Over 1 billion would be a very conservative figure," unquote. That's a pretty scary number, and it only gets worse when you look closer. Entire ecosystems have been reduced to lakes of ash. In smaller fires, animals that ran away could settle somewhere else, but where can they settle when virtually everything has been burned away? Numerous endangered species are now feared to be extinct, or to be facing extremely high risk of extinction. The extent of the damage to Australia's forests and grasslands is so immense that these wildfires may lead to a permanent alteration of the continental ecology. Due to the nature of the crisis, there's many NGOs, aid groups, and donations coming in to support the people fighting these fires. One of these organizations is the WIRES Wildlife Rescue, and one of the people working there is Janine Green. Miss Green was interviewed by CNN, and she expressed doubt that the animal populations would recover after the fires, saying, quote, "They're not coping, and now they've got no grass, no water, no habitat. Who knows if they can breed after this? We've never seen anything like this before," unquote. And yet, I feel like we're going to be seeing more of this stuff all over the world. This is how it's going to be going forward into the 2020s and forever.